this is Mete, and today we are going to talk about one of my paranormal experiences, the time I almost died. So, before we start, if you're scared of ghosts or paranormal experiences in general, I would highly recommend you to either watch it with someone or watch it in the morning, or if you wanna, you feel brave enough right now, you can. But in any case, it has a very good ending. There's a divine intervention, so to say. So let's get started. So this started when I was, I think, 19 or 18. Back then, I was studying in Bangalore, and at that time, I had my exams coming up, semester exams, and in five days before the exam, I got sick out of nowhere, and then I went to the doctor. So usually, I'm a very healthy person, so my illness lasts only 3 days, right? So after 3 days of fever, I usually get okay. I'm a very healthy person, blessed with health. I'm very grateful for that. So at that time, it was 3 days had passed, 5 days had passed, almost a week, and the doctor was like, "Okay, let's run test." And in the test, nothing is showing up, and they were like, this is weird. And they were like, "Okay, you'll have to run more tests, but we'll have to admit you to the hospital." So there goes my exam. Failed that. Anyways, someday I'll tell another story about that. So I was in Bangalore, which is far away from my hometown in Arunachal. So the doctor said, "We have to admit you, and someone has to take care of you as well." So I was just like, "Well, I'm a student in Bangalore, and no one, my parents are not here." So I was just like, "Okay, this might be the time that I go back home." So I went back home to my place in Arunachal, and then started the long journey of me just being a sick person in the bed, not being able to do anything. So again in Arunachal, they start running tests. Now it's been almost like 2 weeks now. They're running tests every single thing they tried, like hepatitis, even AIDS, or brain, maybe something somewhere, something is off, and the doctors couldn't find anything. And by this time, I'm on antibiotics. They're just giving me injections, and it used to burn so much. Jesus Christ. So 2 weeks passed into like 3 weeks, and then by that time, one of my hands were completely swollen because of the antibiotics. So I was just like, "Take this hand because I can't take it anymore in this hand," and it was like swollen. And then another hand I used to give them, like, "Do it in this." And then another 2 weeks passed, and then this hand also got swollen. And I was just like, every time in the morning the nurse would come up to give me the injection, I was like, "No, no," and I used to cry so bad. And then at mind you, at this point the doctors are still running tests. It's like more than 1 month, and they still can't figure out what is up. And then after that, um, I remember one day I was on the fourth floor or fifth floor of the hospital. I was looking outside, and there was a person walking. And by this point, I had forgotten the taste of food. It felt like almost 2 months. So I had forgotten the taste of food. Anything I would eat, I would puke it up. And then I saw that person walking, and I was like, I used to be able to walk like that, because I was I was bedridden at this point for 2 months, and the doctors couldn't do anything. And in the morning, just to give you a bit of context as to what led me to start the paranormal activity or divine intervention. Every morning when the nurse used to come inside the room, she would always give me the antibiotics, and it used to burn so much. So me and my cousin, what we would do, I know it's very stupid, but I would sit under the tap water, and I would put water on myself so that my temperature goes down a bit, because they would measure my temperature, and if it's up, they would give me the antibiotic again, which burned a lot. And then that day I did it again, and well, it didn't work. It doesn't work like that, but I was a teenager. I tried my best. So I was just like, okay. Went back to the bed, and the nurse was like, "Well, you still have 102 fever, 103 fever. We have to give you the antibiotic." And I was crying so badly at that point. And then the doctor came in, and I was just like, the doctor was like a family doctor, and I told him, like, "Sir, I can't do this anymore. Like, I give up. I can't do this. And the doctor looked at me, and then he asked my mom to follow him outside of the room. And then I don't know what they spoke about to this day. And my mom came back, and my mom was like a bit, her face was a bit down. And I asked, like, what did the doctor say? And she was just like, the doctor said that they don't know what else they can do, so they're asking me to go shift to another hospital. Maybe they can figure it out. And mind you, it was 2 months by now, and I've run, like, I don't know, dozens of tests or more, and like the doctors couldn't figure out. And at that point, I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And then I thought, wait, I didn't pray. I was like, I can pray to God for, like, and at that time I was very religious. I was like, I can pray to God to help me with my health. And why, I'll tell you why it didn't come in my mind, is because I'm a very healthy person. So I usually get sick for maximum 3 days, So I usually don't pray to God for health related stuff. So I was just like, oh wait, I can actually pray to God to, like, help me with my health. And then I prayed, like, God, please help me with the health. Please, I can't. And then that night, ladies and gentlemen, the paranormal activity was like, the amount of paranormal activity I experienced that night was like more than I have had like in any nights, to be honest, because as you can know from my channel, I'm a psychic, so it's very normal for me to go to paranormal experiences, right? So at that night, I'll tell you how it started. So I pray, didn't think much of it, and then I went to bed. And I'll tell you a bit of context about how the room is so that you understand what I'm saying. So in this room in the hospital, my parents are allowed to stay with me. My mom was staying with me. There was a bed in the corner. So for example, if you could think like I'm here, and then my mom was in this corner, there was a window right like this next to my mom, where my mom was sleeping, and there was a door in here. So I was sleeping at night, and then it started with, I woke up at night for no reason, and then I looked straight, and there was a chair in there, and I thought I saw a woman, okay? And mind you, I know it could be, when we immediately wake up, there's a hypnagogic state, so we can hallucinate basically. So I looked straight, and I'm like, is that a woman? And the woman had typical, the hair is down and like just sitting there, and I rub my eyes, and of course it's gone. And then I sleep back. And then that's where it starts. And I would like you to pay attention, because the rabbit goes down the hole. Like, one thing leads to another, and before you know it, I will definitely tell you, remember that thing that I just told you a while ago? That thing, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm trying to say is pay attention. My mom was sleeping in the in this corner, right? And then I was sleeping, or so I thought. And at that time, I wasn't spiritual. I didn't have the concept of astral projection. So at that time, my mom sleeping in this corner, I saw two shadow beings. If you don't know what a shadow being is, they're like, they're a person, adult or a young kid, but they're just a shadow. You can't quite tell if that is a real person or not, but you can tell that they are something of a person. So shadow beings is kind of like what I consider a ghost. Can't really categorize them into why they are still around. Maybe they didn't pass over. Anyways, so I see two kids running towards my mom, trying to play. Okay, one was a guy and one was a boy and one was a girl, and they were running towards my mom. And I shouted at my mom like, "Mom!" And we call mom Ane in my tribal language. And I was like, Ane. And the moment I shouted Ane, what I thought it was a dream. When I shouted Ane, the kids would run back. And then again, they would run again towards my mom. And I'm like, Ane. And then they would run back again towards the door. And then this woman comes. This woman is completely draped in white clothing. I can only see her eyes. And the moment she enters the room, my body is stuck to the bed like no tomorrow, and it feels like basically I was sleep paralysis, and I couldn't move. And the moment she comes, I was trying to chant mantra like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, but like it would not finish. The mantra won't finish, and it got stuck on my throat. And I'm not able to finish the mantra, and I was trying to chant Hanuman Chalisa. And then this woman comes near to me, and she's just whispering, okay? She's just like basically, whatever. She's just whispering. And then the weird part is she's doing this unearthly whisper, and I could understand it. And the whisper was saying, she was basically saying, look at me just once. And I was like, hell no, like I'm not looking at you, no, no, no. And I was like, no, I'm not looking at you. And I was like continuously chanting the mantra, or at least I was trying to. And I was chanting the mantra, and I couldn't, and kept on trying. And she was just like, look at me just once, just once. And I was like, no, 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 no. And it kept on continuing it continued for what felt like an eternity to me. And then after that, the moment I felt like I'm about to wake up, you know that moment before, like right before you wake up, your eyes are about to open and you're getting back into this reality from your dreams per se. At that point, I could still hear her. Like, I could still hear the whispers up until I opened my eyes fully. And then, mind you, I know I'm not a person who sweats much, okay? At that point, I was sweating like crazy. Like, my body was, like, I don't think I sweated like that ever, even in the gym. So, after that, I went down and I went to speak to a friend. And then I was like, telling him what happened and stuff like that. He got scared. And then I came back up, okay? And then I told my mom, who was sleeping there, she just listens. She doesn't say anything. And I'll give you a bit of context because where I'm from, Arunachal Pradesh, we are very used to paranormal stuff. We consider ghosts like any other beings that exist. We don't taboo them except that we're scared of them because they're the unknown. My mom is just listening. She doesn't say anything, okay? This is very funny because I'll tell you later on something happened. And then she just listens and she doesn't say anything. And I go back to bed. And then I dream this. This was an actual dream though. I dreamt that from my ears, like so much dirt was coming out. Like this much dirt. It just came out of my ear. It just felt like, I was like, in my dream, I was like, wait, something is coming out of my ears. And I was like, what is that? And then I put my hands like this, and this much of dirt came out of my ears easily and effortlessly, okay? In the morning, the nurse comes, and guess what? After 2 months of illness, right? After 2 months of illness and no diagnosis, just yesterday the doctors gave up on me. My fever is just gone from 102 degrees, 103 degrees to just no fever today. Like literally I had fever last night and like a paranormal situation just sweated it out. I don't know, whatever. And then in the morning, there's no fever. And I'm like, and to be very honest, I never thanked up until like few days ago when I thought about this incident. I think I'm very thankful for the prayer that I had because I think my prayer was heard. And then, anyways, let's get back to the topic. My mom is also happy, right? Of course, your child gets... basically, the doctors gave up and your child is now back to health. Who won't be happy? So the nurse comes in and my mom says, mind you, okay, listen very carefully. My mom says, your hospital is haunted. And she's just like laughing about it, And I was like thinking she's referring to my incident. Remember when I told you that I was calling out my mom in what I thought was a dream? I think I was calling out to her in like my astral form. And I think I was astral projecting back then and I didn't know the concept back then. But as a child, I was very used to getting out of my body and seeing myself on the bed. But I just thought it was so normal that everyone used to do it. So I never questioned it. Because she said to the nurse that yesterday night I was sleeping and I heard my daughter call me, right? And she woke up and saw me and she said I was sleeping. And in my dream, I actually shouted at her what I thought was a dream. I think I was astral projecting. And then she exactly heard me twice, and in my dream I called her twice, except I didn't say it out from my mouth. I was calling out to her in my astral realm. And then she was just like, my daughter called out to me once, and I opened my eyes and I saw her and she was sleeping. And then she called me again and I saw that she's sleeping. And then how is like she calling me out then? So after that, when she slept back, remember when I told you two kids were trying to play with her? She was right next to the window, right? The whole night. We're on the fourth floor and there is no balcony, mind you, in the building. She said, someone kept on poking her from the window at night, like just trying to play or something. Someone was keeping on poking her from the window at night the whole time, to the point that she had to get back to the floor to sleep there so that she can sleep. And this is why she didn't say anything to me at night when I told her about my paranormal experience, because she just had one. And she was just like, okay, I don't think it's good to like scare her right now, because come on, I'm a child. Like, I was a child. So yeah, this is one of the experience that I wanted to share. And I'm pretty sure that I made a lot of blunders. This is my first time talking and storytelling in a video, but I'm very excited to put this kind of stories out. And for what I lack right now, my consistency will make up for it. Okay, so I hope you bear with me with that. But yes, this is what is the story that I have been wanting to tell for so long. It is one of the most profound experiences I think I had. And the lesson I would like you to take away from this is, don't underestimate the power of prayer, because it literally did save my life. It literally did save my life. Anyways, so this is my story. You guys, if you want me to do more of storytelling about paranormal experiences or life in general, let me know in the comments like what you would like me to talk about, and like I will literally make a video on that. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I was very excited to put this video out because I've been procrastinating a lot. Anyways, so bye bye. Thank you for watching.